Continue with our coverage of former Minister Pravin Gordhan's funeral. Vuyo Mvoko is currently at the Durban ICC, where the funeral service will be taking place a bit later on today. Vuyo, very good morning to you. So where are we now in terms of what time the program is expected to start? And a bit earlier on, I was asking Naledi if it's clear as yet who will be delivering the eulogy.
Well, the short answer, Aldrin, is not yet. We don't have a clue at this stage as to how the program has been put together, who it is, who are the people who are going to speak a little later on. But what we do know is that the program is scheduled to start here at exactly 10 o'clock, and people have started arriving. In fact, we've spent practically the past, 20-odd minutes or so having security people here with their dogs sweeping, doing bomb sweeps and the like, whereafter we were then allowed to re-enter the venue, go through all the security checks again. But all that is gone now, and all of us here, broadcasters, journalists, can now resume what we were doing or trying to do a little later on. But I do have a guest with me who is a long-time friend and comrade of Pravin Gordhan, someone who has known him for more than 40 years, and that is Sham Maharaj. Sham, a very good morning to you. Thanks very much for your time. You've known this man for more than 4 decades. Tell us, where did you first meet, under what circumstances?
Well, we met, Pravin Gordhan passed on when he was 75. I met him when he was 29 years old. Still very young Pravin Gordhan, who had come to Phoenix many years ago when there was what they called the Springfield or Tin Town floods. All the houses were flooded, Amgeni River burst its banks, and there were many hundreds of people homeless. And they were reallocated to Phoenix, just houses that were built by the municipality at that time. And there were numerous problems, and Pravin and members of the NIC had arrived in Phoenix to look at how they can lend a hand to make sure people are settled in, and some of the teething problems they've had, how best they can bring communities together to look at how they can help with the social issues now. Pravin in Phoenix was instrumental.
What is the NIC?
Well, Natal Indian Congress, it was revived in 1971. And the flood happened in 1977, 78. And that's where people began to move in. And Pravin was instrumental in forming what they have called today the Phoenix Working Committee, which is a civic structure, and the Phoenix Child Welfare to look at service delivery in terms of social issues. And that's where we met him. And that's the activism that he's been involved in from the beginning.
What kind of a young man would you say he was at 25 when you met him?
Well, Pravin, I heard, was working at King Edward Hospital as a chemist, and I think the history has been that he's been fired from there for activism also. But in Phoenix, he was quite a young guy trying to teach people how to organize communities, how to bring people together, how to very simply interact with ordinary people so that we could unite them with problems that they've had, and to develop leadership in these areas. That's the more important thing. And today we are the legacy of Pravin Gordhan.
Was he a nice guy?
Well, very strict, very pushy to make sure we get the work done. And we are very proud today that because of all the pushing we are here, so I can speak to you, Vuyo.
But then did you get to meet with him, chat to him? Did you get to socialize with him during those times? In other words, outside of the activism that sort of brought you together?
Yes, I mean, he's been a simple man since then. And I was saying somebody, as I remember him, he had a very old Ford Escort car. You push, I go car, chisel-shaped, white in color. Couldn't afford that time a luxury car. But a very simple man. We met outside of our organizing work. I do know when we've had meetings with the then city council, he and I were the main negotiators during that time. And after the meetings, we should share money. We should share money together, and we can eat together, Very simple. And he pushed us and developed a whole range of activists throughout Durban, who today are standing as his legacy because he has been somebody who's never said die. You would also know, going forward, in terms of the work he has done in government, he sometimes stood alone in terms of the corruption and those other matters here. So very principled, very hardworking, but the man who was prepared to stand his ground for the truth.
But did he have a social life, though?
Well, I think, Pravin, all of us as activists, social life has been something which has been pushed aside. But I think socially with his friends and comrades, he spent a lot of time. He, in fact, gave his life to the struggle, sacrificed his family for the sake of the country.
You mean no love life, socializing, partying, none of that at all?
Well, Pravin was such a strict man. The only kind of parties he would have is when he called activists together for training, provided us with food, in the Gandhi settlement every year since 1978. The socializing he did was his comrades first before anybody else. And the kind of parties he had was with us, giving us brown bread and baked beans to eat when these functions happened to train cadres like us.
Now, beyond the formative years of your relationship, when he now became, let's fast forward to when he became a minister, or maybe let's start with SARS years later on as a minister. Did you get to then mix with him again? Did you get to have dinners? Did you get to get together in some way, in one way or the other?
Well, one thing about Pravin is that he never forgot his roots. Although he was minister serving in high places, he had come to Durban every time we've had a function. And when we make a call to him, he would take the call. Because of the relationship we have had, we send him a WhatsApp message, he will return the WhatsApp message. And we've had several occasions. In 2019, just before we've had the COVID come on board, we've in Phoenix recognized many heroes like that. And we've invited Pravin to come. And that was the last big function in 2019 where we had given a community award to himself and other people. So he had come there, and I've got a video. People were dancing. My wife is here and all of them were dancing. I never seen Pravin dance, but I got a video which shows a snippet of, yes, he was trying to dance. Of course, yes.
Unsuccessfully, of course.
Yes, of course. But it was really fun. He's never looked back and said, well, I'm minister now, and so, well, I can't take care of your invitation. He would try and accommodate everybody. And even when he came to some of our functions, he would not sit on the stage where we would have our VIPs sit. No, he would sit with everybody else. That's how simple a man he was.
How would you like to see him being remembered?
Well, I think Pravin, 3 weeks ago, before his death, we've had a Natal Indian Congress meeting out in Durban, and he had come. I didn't know he was as sick, but he had come to talk to young activists, 100 of us here, to say South Africa is still not free. South Africa will be free when everybody is free, economically and socially. And he message he had given us is that, I mean, in the last day or so before he had passed on, he said, carry on with the struggle, organize still, get your community together, and do what I have throughout my life have done. And that's a legacy we would want to remember Pravin for. And we are going to continue with the formation of civic structures and social media structures to get his legacy going.
Sam Maharaj, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, and thanks to the viewers.
Someone who, of course, has known Pravin Gordhan since Pravin Gordhan was 25.